Hana Life Esports is keeping their form and now acquire their match point in order to head towards the regional qualifier round 2. Hana Life Esports started off with a loss, but they picked up a victory back-to-back. So let's deep dive onto their draft. Morgan once again played Camille now the 3rd times in a row, and Summit decided to actually first pick Jace. I think, yeah, this Jace was able to do some decent work. What do you think about that? I think Leaf Sandbox kind of fall and kind of misleaded by their own draft. With some adjustment with their pick, they kind of lost the theme and concept. I think they were looking for that Lee Sin pick for their jungler, but with the last ban coming out from Hana Life targeting onto that Lee Sin, Jace was a little bit left alone on the top lane with no cover or synergy from the top jungler. Camille had so much advantage over Leaf Sandbox poke comp. I think Leaf Sandbox wasn't really able to find the right draft in this game. To put it simple, Leaf Sandbox, they had a very difficult comp to execute. You should not make any single mistake in order to find success with this comp. But to be perfectly honest, they were actually just dying every time they were trying to make actions. We had a lot of that scored by Summit's Jace. On the other hand, Chovy's Twisted Fate was roaming around the map and exerting all of his pressure. This game was pretty chaotic. It was not a one-sided victory secured by Hana Life Esports. There were some fights where Leaf Sandbox was able to find the edge over Hana Life Esports. So here's the first replay. Leaf Sandbox secured a Herald and they rotated towards the top lane. Hana Life Esports read this rotation like a book, and they were preparing for the counterplay, but the turret had too low HP. I think Hana Life Esports just had to try their best to protect their turret because Twisted Fate had no tool to rotate toward the top lane. So this was a very predictable play by Leaf Sandbox, but Hana Life Esports didn't just have the right reaction. So even though they knew it, they couldn't counter this play. And later on, after that play, Leaf Sandbox even raised the inner turret on the top lane and even got a kill onto that Camille. So Hana Life Esports, they definitely didn't play perfectly and without any flaw in this game. But in the end, it was Hana Life Esports turning the game around and securing another victory over Leaf Sandbox. Now here's the second replay where Deft had a phenomenal performance around the Baron's Pit. I don't know how to put this. It could be maybe Leaf Sandbox being flustered, or maybe Hana Life Esports being really on point to countering the action from the opponent. With the Camille and Twisted Fate, Hana Life Esports started to have more priority with the map play. So Leaf Sandbox decided to kind of make a bold decision to stop the monopoly from Hana Life Esports, but Steph, he was so brave to make a counterplay, but he is a little bit confused whether it's Steph being really, proactive and aggressive in order to salvage his team, or whether Leaf Sandbox, they just didn't know how to kind of deny this kind of a play from Hana Life Esports. It was a really nice counter play by Hana Life Esports. Leona is the one that is in full charge of Leaf Sandbox's crowd control, but she was not in the right position to deny the collapse from the opponents. I don't really think that Leaf Sandbox really had to play that kind of setup, because once they get fed and once they head to the late game, they also have a huge potential to out-damage the opponents. But I think Leaf Sandbox, they were feeling too much pressure coming from Camille and TF's map play. And, you know, in terms of making those kind of a dicey play, you have to put your money on a play that has higher probability, you know. This could be a very risky one, but you still have to find which one has higher chance. Now we are heading into game number 4 between Hana Life Esports and Leaf Sandbox. Leaf Sandbox was so romantic during the regular split, but they are starting to fall apart heading into the fall. So let's see what happens in game number 4, whether it's gonna be the last one or whether Leaf Sandbox can take us to game number 5, and let us tune in the Silver Scrapes to hype up the series.